And then we go straight to live. So we're going into this absolutely wrong.
Kia ora, good evening and welcome to the 81st episode of the Huddy Hui. Apologies for the delay. A few little technical glitches there, but our guests tonight, well, they're two of OBU's finest players. Of course, one of them's joined the coaching ranks this season, and hopefully you can hear us. Luke Gilbert and Oskar Lynch, how are you?
G'day, good, thanks, Brad.
Yeah, good, thank you.
Hold on a second, lads. I might have just lost you again. All these gremlins are coming back again. Have I got you now?
Yeah, I can hear you, Brad.
That's better. Yep. There we go. Good, good. Welcome, man. How are you doing?
Yeah, good. Doing really well.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, it's great to be here on the Huddy Hui.
Oh, thank you. Good. So, Wainui last weekend. Keys to the win last week.
Oh, geez. Yeah, coach should know, I suppose. I don't know. I think it was good to get well, not good to get a loss, but like it was nice to sort of have a bit of refresh and a bit of a rethink of what we were doing for the season, sort of reprioritise for the season. And yeah, I think the boys just bounced back out. They're hungry for a win, and yeah, I think ultimately we did it. We did it a long way. It took 60 minutes to crack Wainui, but we did it eventually. And I think we just trust that process and got through it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that we sort of learned to stay patient, and there was sort of key messages from coaches as well. Trust the system, and yeah, we got it done in the end. So yeah, all good.
Of course, round 6, you had Johnsonville. Was that just a blip, or did the Hawks catch you by surprise?
I like to say a blip personally. I wouldn't give Dalboy, their coach, the satisfaction of anything else, I suppose. And being a coach that's broken Colts, so it was a bit of a shame. But yeah, I'd just say a blip to be fair, and probably I don't know, maybe slight lapse of concentration, maybe underestimating the slightly. But to be fair, you've got to give credit to Johnsonville. They played extremely well. To the conditions, a big northerly was there that day, and they took the points on offer, and ultimately just sort of suffocated us out of the game. So yeah. Flip and well done to Johnsonville, I suppose.
Now, you're both flatmates. Who's in charge of all the chores?
Yeah. Me. Gilby is awful at cleaning up. Yeah. His room, no, I'll give him this, and his mother's taught him well. His room is very clean. But yeah, I think Joshua and myself are the cleaners of the flat, the mothers of the flat, if you will. But Gilby just makes up for great chat and good looks, I suppose.
I'd just like to add, Oscar just cooked dinner.
Don't even start with that. Oh, that's awful.
Now, Oskar, you played last year for the Premiers. You moved into coaching last year. Why the change?
Yeah. Why the change? Sort of forced into it. I unfortunately dislocated my shoulder a few too many times. Ironically, first game was against Wainui last year. I dislocated that, and then in the Harden Cup final, there dislocated about 3 or 4 times in that game. They realised something was wrong. So yeah, I had a bit of a shoulder reconstruction in February, but it's coming along nicely. Hopefully, I'll be able to maybe play the last couple games of the second round. But and I'm really enjoying the opportunity to get coached. I think it's hats off to Tomasi, Bug, and Glenn for allowing me to sort of step into that role. I was quite nervous not flirting with these boys who are all playing, and then being in the team, not being in the team this year. So yeah, huge kudos to Tomasi, Glenn, and Bug for allowing me to actually take on such a large responsibility, and still be involved with what is a really, really great team and a close-knit team as well.
How's it coaching teammates like Luke Gilbert and others who you've played alongside the previous year?
Yeah.
I made the job easy for him, bro.
Yeah, a few headaches. I've lost a little bit of hair already. Hairline's still strong though, but it really has been like, I guess, a sort of transition period. It's quite tough when you go from being a player to then being a coach. Gilby can probably testify to the fact that I've had to crack the whip a couple of times and maybe get a little bit grumpy. But, I think that just sort of helps it. But to be fair, the boys have been great. They've actually respected it a lot as well, which has made my job a lot easier. But yeah, I think I'm still like fourth, fifth youngest in the team pretty much. So it's quite ironic that one of the younger ones is sort of probably leading the reins a little bit more. But no, they've been fantastic.
Now, Luke, there's a lot of competition in the OBU Premier side and the forward pack this year. How have you had to change your game to try and compete?
Oh, look, yeah, you're right. We've got some outstanding front rowers. In general, I think that just for me, showing up to training every sort of session we get and trying to do what I can to in the spot. It's a privilege just to chuck the jersey on when you get a chance. So yeah, look, I'm just trying to learn as much as I can and give training to everything. And when I get the opportunity, I love it. Go out there and let it rip.
Now, of course, you're a product of Rosmini College up there in North Harbour. Tell us about Rosmini and the North Harbour competition up there.
Yeah, look, I had a great few years at Rosmini. It's the school is very close to my heart. It's traditionally quite a strong rugby school. We've got a very strong rival with Slate Boys. And look, I guess throughout the last couple of years we've sort of fallen off a little bit, but I think that we're sort of building out. We've got a couple of really, really good junior players. My senior team this year is actually looking pretty strong as well. So yeah, it's provided me with a pretty awesome platform, and I've been lucky enough to have some great coaching there. So yeah, it's been awesome for me. Yeah.
And how many seasons did you play for the first 15?
I think I managed to get a debut game in year 11. So yeah, that'll be 3 seasons for the first team. Yeah.
Animal.
And how was your time at college? Did you go on to achieve any leadership roles, or generally tell us about Rosmini College?
Yeah, look, I had an awesome time at the school. I made some great friends, some friends for life. I consider them my family members now. They're awesome guys. Rugby in particular, it's been awesome. I managed to achieve like a deputy head boy throughout my year 13, which was awesome. That was a great experience, and also learned a lot in that role as well. Just like my counterpart, Oskar also achieved that role as well. So must be
yeah, good looks as well, probably. Yeah.
One of the requirements of being flatmates, I presume. Deputy head boys.
Yeah. Well, I can't say anything else, I suppose, but.
So, what was your best game for the first 15, Luke?
That's a tough one. Traditionally the props go a little bit under the radar. I was playing tight head, but look, I'd say that my most memorable game, and probably I'd say my best game was probably the grand final in 2017 when we played in the championship against Westlake, and we got the dub there. It was an awesome game. It was an awesome atmosphere playing at North Harbour Stadium. It's always good. We were around some pretty senior guys as well. Some great rugby heads, the likes of Max Hicks, who's now playing for the Marcos, and Tom O'Donovan, who's with North Harbour, and a couple of other guys as well. So it was great to play alongside them.
Why the move to Wellington and OBU?
Yep. So I think that at the end of school, I sort of saw it as an opportunity to sort of venture into a different environment and challenge myself. I went down on a economics trip in there for Wellington, and for a couple of days with my mates, and we had a great time. And I thought to myself, I want to come back here, and the student life looked awesome, and lucky enough, I was in a good hall and had a great first year, and got introduced to Old Boys University, who has been absolutely insane with all aspects, including social. So yeah, it's been awesome.
Now, Oskar, you're from the Hawke's Bay. Whereabouts in the Hawke's Bay are you from?
I went to Napier Boys High School. So proud school, proud old boy.
And your father, Bevan, was a former Magpie. Yes. How important has he been in your rugby journey?
Yeah, crucially. Yeah, like we spent a fair bit of time overseas when we were growing up, and just to have like hear the stories about how impactful he was even overseas was very cool. And yeah, to have the opportunity to have him coach me most of my childhood was special. He would say it was very strenuous. I got red carded in trainings, which I think has never happened. I come home in tears every week or every day, and Mum would be thinking, "What's happened now?" And also, I was currently getting a bit too lippy, and I get red carded. But to be fair, it's put me instead now because I'd hate to think I'm the person I'd be now if it wasn't for what good morals my father taught me. So yeah, no, he's been very impactful on my rugby and life career.
Deputy head boy at Napier Boys. Tell us about Napier Boys. It's a bit of a factory.
Yeah, you could say that. Like, yeah, we had mine last year, 2018, we had like a very successful year for rugby, that is. And to be fair, just makes great men as well. Academically and socially and sporting wise in that 2018 year was a pretty special year group to grow up with. It was very challenging and like it's impacted me on all my endeavours through what I've done afterwards. But yeah, awesome school and like yeah, couldn't recommend it more. Better than Lindisfarne or something like that. So much better.
Brendan Ratcliffe was your coach. Tell us about him.
He was. Yeah, no, it was very cool. Rats is a good family friend of ours, so it was very cool to like sort of see him in his personal space of rugby because obviously that's something he really excels at. And to be fair, I think he really tapped the most out of the team. We were a pretty talented team, to be fair, but what he really did well was sort of his mantra was, it doesn't really matter what happens on the field. It's the good men that we try to create off it. And to be fair, that just made life so much easier off the field, which then I think showed on the field. We were lucky enough to go to South Africa, and like the bonding we did on that trip was just incredible. And yeah, to be fair, just fantastic. And he was really like let the players lead, and we had guys like Pi, Leo Thompson, Josh Gimlet, Yaki Fabish. The names go on. To be fair, great men, and like yeah, they just led the team to what was a pretty good season for us. But obviously we came up a bit short.
Super 8 final. You narrowly lost to Hamilton. A massive game.
Yeah.
Why'd you fall short?
I think it was probably a bit of a theme for the season where in the games that we did lose, which were probably like in the two big games that we had, which was the Super 8 final and the top 4 final, was just a lapse of, I don't know, sort of concentration in the first 20 after the second half. Yeah, pretty bitter still about both those games, to be fair. I can remember what happened in both of them quite vividly, but yeah, no, it was a good experience, a learning experience, and yeah, not much more to say on it. I suppose it still hurts a bit, Brad. It still hurts.
And of course, you mentioned the top 4, 2018,
yeah,
and you went against another side that caused massive upset, St. Peter's. That final was quite surreal.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, like you sort of saw what they did towards coming into top 4, and you go, "Wow, that's an incredible game, or an incredible round that they've had, like beating big schools like St Kitts and Kings." And we sort of just came there. Obviously, we faced the South Island school to start off with, and we concentrated on that. And we probably thought we were going to have handboys again in the final, but once again they caused an upset. They didn't get. They played full 80 and they won, and then unfortunately they did the same to us. It was yeah, a dominating first half by us, but then as I get reminded far too often, especially by Bug, our head coach, what was the score at half time, and then what was the score at full time, and then yeah, quickly wipes a smile as if I've got the upper hand in anything.
Now, of course, Luke, let's talk about the Hardham Cup final last year. OBU got out to a hissle roar. Oskar broke his shoulder 4 times. Yeah, tell us about that final, because that's, as I've mentioned, talking about 2 finals of Oskar, rather similar, down to the last minute.
Yeah, look, I'd say the same. Yeah, it obviously feels pretty bitter. No matter what cup final you're playing, you want to win it. So we've sort of held that quite close to our hearts as being playing for the team this year. We don't want to see a repeat of that. Obviously, we want to sort of win everything we can at the moment, and Jubilee's on top of our minds. It was a game that I guess we're just going to have to forget, and we'll go from there. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll add one thing that we did that I do remember from that game was the fact that straight after we're in our team huddle, and immediately guys like Harks and KP, they said, "Remember this feeling, fellas, because we're going to remember it when we win, the Jubilee the next year. So, like, we straight away turned away to what we were going to do this season. And, I think it's a credit to the leadership group that we have in our team, the fact that immediately our focus changed to what we were going to do this season. And, keep those memories pretty fresh, enough to, use as a motivating factor.
Well, you mentioned just that, motivating factor. This season, the team seems to be gluing well together. Big wins against Huddle Boys Marist and Marist St. Pat's. Just a small hiccup against Johnsonville. But the team seems to be going really well. Yeah,
extremely. I think it's the closest team I've ever been a part of. The culture in the club at the moment is just incredible. I think we've had a bit of a struggle over the last couple of years. Obviously, probably it happens after having quite a few successful years, and then change of players, change of coaches. The team culture is extremely, extremely strong this year, and led by guys like Gilby and Doogs and all those fellas, Josh and Gotti. Joe and Gotti, they're just absolute champions, and it's the closest team I've ever been a part of.
Yeah, 100%. I can vouch for that as well. There's nothing like taking the field and going to battle with some of your best mates, and that's what we're doing this year. We all want to fight for each other. We've all got the same goal in mind, so we'll try and make it happen.
Now, Luke, let's come back to you. You've also gone on to representative selection. Tell us about Wellington Under-19s.
Yeah, that was. I was incredibly lucky to be able to travel to Taupo with those guys. Obviously, it was a really great learning experience. We had some awesome coaches there, and the likes of Theon Wallow and Huge and stuff like that. So it was a great experience. It was awesome playing alongside those players. A lot of those players have now sort of gone on to represent Mitre Cup level. That's been awesome. So incredibly lucky, and it was also great being able to sort of go up against some of my mates from home, like North Harbour as well, and Oskar and Tiaki and Guinness. So yeah, it's great.
What's your preferred position, hooker or prop?
I'd say right now it's definitely prop. I think that prop involves a lot less mental traffic, which is I always appreciate.
They're the smartest people in the field.
yeah, exactly, yeah. But yeah, I'd say prop for sure at the moment.
Loves the dark places.
Yeah, I love the dark.
Now, both of you are studying at Vic Uni. What are you both your degrees in or training towards?
Well, yeah, I'm in my 5th year now. I'm struggling along. I'm doing a law and commerce degree. So yeah, in my 5th and almost final. I've got a half year next year to finish off with. Just trucking through that, I suppose.
Yeah, I actually I graduated last year. I did international business and marketing, so it was great to tick that off and get on from there.
And what do you do for work, Luke?
I'm currently doing sort of like quantitative trading recruitment, so basically just recruitment stuff focusing on overseas at the moment, yeah.
Both of you, your best game for the Billy Goats?
Ooh, that's tough. It was mine. The one I can remember the most is the only try I've scored for the Prems is against Jabil last year, and it was right in front of Dowboy. And to be fair, I just sat on Tiaki's shoulder and literally flopped on the ball over the line. It was not a try at all, but I scored it and pointed straight at Dowboy and gave him a lot of love and reminded him constantly about it. So that's probably my fondest memory.
Yeah, I think for me, I can't really pinpoint an individual game, but it's going to have to go back to probably Colts. Colts Green, we had an awesome team. We were playing with Oskar and a couple of our other good mates, Tiaki and Jimmy and Josh Godseth and a few of the other boys. So I think any game that we're playing, with them and under a great coach and in terms of Dallas as well. But it was an awesome season in general. We've had some great games. Yeah.
No, he's probably watching tonight. Patches.
I hope he is.
Tell us about Patches. This is his moment of fame.
What a legend!
Yeah, special
what an
man.
Absolute club legend.
Yeah, got a lot of space in our hearts for Patches, and we name moves after club legends, and they don't come along lightly. And club legend Patches has got one. He's an absolute superstar. The stuff he does off the field for the boys is just incredible. Like running, the amount of the injuries that happen in the game, it's not easy, and you've got a pretty tight schedule on a Saturday to make sure everything goes smoothly and make sure the boys' headspace is in the right place. And Catches just runs along with Rug, just runs that warm up and that strapping process and everything really succinctly. And yeah, just a great guy to be around. Always has got a good yarn and yeah, loves a selfie. Yeah, great guy.
North's the sad day. Pororua Park, a tough place. They always step up for you guys. They're having a tough season. What are you anticipating about this game?
Look, I think that we obviously know that they're going to be very direct and they're probably going to take us on up front. We've definitely been training accordingly. I should say we had a pretty physical session on Tuesday in the forward pack. So yeah, we'll definitely be up for it and we'll be ready.
And of course, quite a tough road home, except for Wellington. You've got Porniki, Oris, Upper Hutt, and to finish off, Parramatta Plimpton. Quite a big finish. You're currently third on the table. Tell us about the road home.
Yeah, I think we're pretty excited about the road home, to be fair. I think we probably had one of the more tougher starts out of all the teams. And to have come through pretty much unscathed apart from Johnsonville, I think we're pretty happy about. Ultimately, we're just taking it 1 week at a time. It's North this weekend and then Wellington the week after. But yeah, I think we just got to focus on just keeping it fresh, keeping everything exciting. And the boys are fizzing, to be fair. And I think there's just a real excitement around the team, that genuine belief that we can do it and we will do it. And so, yeah, we're pretty confident, I'd say, in our ability to come through and pull it home. We're very excited to play them. Very excited, especially Upper Hutt and Flynn as our two top of the table rivals. I think we're licking our lips to face them.
Luke and Oskar, fantastic having you on the Huddy Hui tonight. All the best this Saturday. Go well for the rest of the year.
Thank you very much, Brad.
Thank you very much.
It's great to be on.
Absolutely. Awesome. Thank you, lads.
Time for dessert, eh?
So Luke Gilbert and Oskar Lynch, both two fine men out of Old Boys University. And Old Boys University going pretty well this year. Third on the table, just the one loss against Johnsonville, as we talked about in the Hui just before. Well, this afternoon was the first of the Wellington First 15 games, the first traditional of the year in Wellington, and it was Wellington College and St. Pat's Town out at Evans Bay Park. And it was Wellington College that came away 16 points to 14 in that game. There was a late penalty in the final minute to Jade Burns, 37 metres on an angle, but he missed it. So Wellington College held on to defend the Centennial Shield 2023. And of course, the rest of the First 15 Wellington competition kicks off this Saturday. And also joining Wellington College in the competition is Silverstream, St. Pat's Town, Rongotai College, Scots College, Mana College, St. Bernard's College, Hutt International Boys School, Tawa, and Wairarapa College. So we've got 10 teams this year. There was only 9 in 2022. Round 8 of the Swindale Shield. Let's have a look at some of the games on this weekend. Parramatta Plimpton versus Wainui. 2 versus 12. Parramatta at home. Old Timers Day. We'll get the W. Porniki versus Hutt All Boys Maris. This is always a tough game. 10 versus 9. Hutt going well, but Porniki at home, always tough. Norths versus OBU, as we mentioned in the broadcast before. Norths at home, a bit more competitive. They have found it tough this year. Old Boys University on fire. They should take the W. Upper Hutt Tawa, 1 versus 6. Tawa with a win over against Oriental Rongotai last Saturday. And Upper Hutt getting home late on the piece against Batoni, 40 points to 39. And what a thrilling game that was. And I'd like to say we did have some internet issues out there at Maidstone Park. So you can still have some of the game. It's just a bit patchy in parts. So one of the problems when sometimes the internet and going on the road doesn't always work too well. Ori's MSP or is MSP, 4 versus 8. Both teams coming off losses, in particular MSP, 50 points put on by Huddle Boys Maris. Batoni Avalon, that's the game we are covering on Huddy Sports YouTube this Saturday, 2:45, so look out for that. And also Wellington versus Johnsonville at Haitaitai Park, 14 versus 7. So that is the 81st episode of the Huddy Hui. Tune in next Wednesday, our 82nd episode. Our guest next week, well, he's fresh off victory, being the captain of the Wellington College First 15. Jack Riley will be our guest on the Huddy Hui next Saturday, 7 p.m. So tune in for that one. This is the Huddy Hui for another week. Go well. Round 8 and the first round of the First 15 competition. Ciao for now.